Number 10. Eno Battle wa Nichijouke no Nakade. During a literature club meeting, the 4 club members, along with their faculty advisor's niece, suddenly find themselves with supernatural powers. Now capable of fabricating black flames, resident Chuniboyo Jirai Ando is the most ecstatic about their new abilities. Unfortunately, his own is only for show and unable to accomplish anything of substance. Moreover, he is completely outclassed by those around him. Fellow club member Tomoyo Kanzaki manipulates time. Jirai's childhood friend Hakoto Kushikawa wields control over the 5 elements. Club president Tsuyumi Takanashi can repair both inanimate objects and living things, and their advisor's niece, Chifuyu Himeki, is able to create objects out of thin air. However, while the mystery of why they receive these powers looms overhead, very little has changed for the literature club. The everyday lives of these 5 superpowered students continues on, albeit now tinged with the supernatural. Number 9. Mayoeneko Overrun. Takumi Suzuki is a high school student who attends Umenorami Private Academy, free of charge, alongside Fumino Serizawa, a childhood friend of his whom always said the opposite of what she feels. He spends most of his time at school fending off Chise Unemori, the granddaughter of the board chairman and a pampered princess, who is constantly roping him into her eccentric hobbies. After school, he goes to work at the Stray Cats Confectionery, a cake shop run by his adoptive older sister Otome Suzuki, until it's time to go to bed. This is the average routine in the day in life of Takumi. Mayoeneko Overrun follows another seemingly average day in the life of Takumi. With his sister away from the shop, having gone to save someone else in need of help, Fumino takes it upon herself to wake him up so that he won't be late for their usual walk to school together, giving him a glimpse of her blue and white striped panties in the process. What a nice way to start the day. When Otome returns home, she brings with her a girl named Nozomi Kiriya, whose hair and mannerisms resemble that of a large cat. It turns out that she is a runaway that Otome can't help but take in. Takumi's ordinary days are transformed into splendid chaos as she tries to unravel who this mysterious beauty is and what she's running away from. Number 8. Baku To Test Who Shokanju. Fumizuki Academy isn't a typical Japanese high school. This unique institution has implemented a new and innovative system to sort its students. At the end of their freshman year, students take a test that divides up the student body. The highest scorers are placed into A class, all the way down until F class, for the lowest of the low. Unfortunately for Akihisa Yoshi, his supposedly great intellect wasn't quite enough for such a test, and now he's stuck at the bottom of F class. Naturally, F class has the worst facilities. Not only rotten tatami mats and broken tables, but also outdated equipment and worn out furniture. On the bright side, his friend Yuji Sakamoto is in the same class, and to everyone's surprise, the genius girl Mizuki Hajime also ended up in the same class due to an unforeseen fever on the day of the test. Unsatisfied with their prerequisites, F-Class rallies behind Yuji, determined to take on the higher-tiered classes in order to seize their perks by using the school's examination summoned battle system. The participants can summon fantasy characters whose power levels are equal to their students' test scores in an all-out battle. Will F-Class be able to rise to the top, or will they live up to everyone's expectations and fail? Number 7. Hoshizora Ikakuruhashi. Kazuma Hoshino is preparing himself for a new stage of his life as a teenager. Because of his brother Amuya's weaker than average health, their parents thought it best for the family to move out from the city to a more rural environment. Now the two brothers are off to the Yorizuya Inn, where they'll be staying until their parents can settle affairs back in the city and set up their new home. Their arrival to the inn doesn't go as planned though when they catch the wrong bus, wind up in the middle of nowhere, Amuya gets his hat stolen by a wild monkey, and Kazuma gets lost in the woods to track the animal down. It all leads to a chance encounter with a spirited young girl named Yui, who Kazuma ends up accidentally falling onto and kissing while she tries leading him back to the bus stop. This hardly sits well with Yui's friend Ibuki, who swiftly kicks Kazuma and sends him on his way. Much to Kazuma's continued horror, his bad luck is perpetuated at the end thanks to its landlady Senka and her slightly perverted sense of humor, and then finding out that 2 of his classmates are the girls he embarrassed himself in front of back in the woods. Hoshizora Ikakuruhashi finds Kazuma adapting to his new school, dealing with the multiple women who have entered his life, providing emotional support for his younger brother, and coping with living with his new landlady. However, for some reason, something about this place is bringing whispers out of the past into Kazuma's mind. Small flashes back to more innocent time and a friendship long forgotten. What could this deja vu mean? Number 6. Asu no Yuichi. Yuichi Karasuma has spent all his life in the mountain, training in the Soaring Wind Divine Wind swordsmanship style. Under his father's guidance, he is able to master the technique at the age of 17. With nothing left to learn, Yuichi is sent to a new dojo located in the city so he can continue to train and gain an understanding of modern society. Unfortunately, Yuichi has no idea how to act or speak to anyone in the present day and acts like a samurai, complete with odd speech and traditional clothing. As he goes to live with the Ikaruga sisters at the dojo, Yuichi, clueless on how to interact with others, is constantly hurtled into hilarious misunderstandings. Asu no Yuichi follows Yuichi as he stumbles through his new life and tries to learn how to live in the modern world with his new family. Goku Goku no Brynhilder. Venturing into the wilderness, the skeptical Ryota Murakami and the ambitious Kuroneko were on a quest to prove the existence of extraterrestrial life when a tragic accident occurred, reaping Kuroneko of her life and leaving Ryota in a critically injured state. 10 years have passed since the disaster, and Ryota is now living a normal life in high school. He vows to prove that aliens are real in honor of his late friend. A transfer student named Neko Kuroha unexpectedly arrives one day, bearing a striking resemblance to the late Kuroneko, even sharing a similar name. Most mysteriously, she seems to possess supernatural powers. As Ryota takes more interest in Neko, he is drawn into a deadly world where dangerous scientists hunt magic-wielding witches that have escaped from their secret research laboratory. Neko is one of these escapees, but there are others who are in similar situations, and it's up to Ryota to protect them from their would-be captors. Number 4. Yusuke No Sora, in solitude where we are least alone. Haruka and Soru Kasagano are coming home, to a place filled with memories. Having lost their parent in a tragic car accident, the twins resolve to return to the countryside and start life anew at their grandfather's house, the haunt a constant reminder of moments from their past. Greeting them are childhood friends Nao Yorihime and Akira Amatsume, and newcomer Kazuha Migiwa. It is a warm welcome, symbolic of the days that should come. Their peace is merely ephemeral, however, as suppressed emotions, born from vows both newfound and forgotten, start exerting their influence on the twins' new lives. And deep down, a dark secret only known to them begins to unshackle. Based on the visual novel by Sphere, Yusuke No Sora not only explores the power of lost memories and true love when the bonds of many become intertwined, but also raises the questions of morality and social acceptance. Arifureta Shokugyo de Seikai Saikyu. The ordinary life of 17-year-old otaku Hajime Nagamo is disrupted when he and his classmates are summoned to a fantasy world and tasked with saving mankind. While his classmates are gifted with impressive abilities useful in combat, Hajime is belittled for only gaining an inferior transmutation skill that lacks any real offensive power.
During an expedition in the Great Orcus Labyrinth, Hajime is betrayed by one of his classmates, plummeting him to the bottom of an abyss. Though he survives the fall, Hajime is faced with menacing monsters and misfortunes that send him spiraling into a grim nightmare. Desperate to live and return home one day, he resolves to fight for his survival, only to meet an imprisoned vampire he names Yu, who is also seeking to escape the labyrinth. Taking an interest in him, Yu and a few others along the way accompany Hajime on his journey to find a way back home, while steadily transforming from commonplace to the world's strongest.
This is the future. Human error.
Sedokai Yaku and Domo. They say that the more things change, the more they stay the same, and those words could not be more true for the student council at Osai Private Academy. Though an entire year has passed, bringing the senior members to their final year of high school, not much has changed. President Shino Amakusa is just as perverted as ever, Secretary Arya Shichijo still refuses to put on a pair of panties, Treasurer Suzu Hagimura has yet to grow an inch, and Vice President Takatoshi Suda is still as stuck as the straight men to their crazy antics. Of course, limiting the fun to a four-way might get a little stale. Although the group still messes around with the judo club and the newspaper club, more girls have come to get in on the excitement. Takatoshi's sister Kotomi, a new student at Osai, is as perverse as the president, while Uomi, the aloof student council president of the nearby Iryu High School, fits right in with the insanity at Osai. With loads of absurdity and sexual humor that keeps on coming, Takatoshi needs to harden up if he is going to keep up with all the madness around him. To love Ru. Timid 16-year-old Rito Yuki has yet to profess his love to Hanara Sarinji, a classmate and object of his infatuation since junior high. Sadly, his situation becomes even more challenging when one night a mysterious, stark-naked girl crash lands right on top of a bathing Rito. To add to the confusion, Rito discovers that the girl, Lala Sadalin Deviluk, is the crown princess of an alien empire and has to run away from her home. Despite her position as heiress to the most dominant power in the entire galaxy, Lala is surprisingly more willing to marry the decidedly average Rito in order to avoid an unwanted political marriage.
Alright everyone, that's it for today's video. Did you guys enjoy this list, or find any anime you're interested in? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments, and please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And if you're new, remember to turn on notifications for more upcoming top 10 videos.